Welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida. We began the day leaving Fort Wilderness at about 11 in the morning, made the roughly 100-mile trip over through Tampa into the St. Petersburg area with our staging point in Seminole, Florida. The temperatures had dropped considerably, allowing us to continue our plans to stay with the Harvest Host in Seminole. Seminole is located just to the east of St. Petersburg, but it's one of those cities that if you don't realize when you cross the city limit sign, you don't know when you went into St. Petersburg and left Seminole. We began our St. Petersburg exploring at the Saturday morning market. It's a really unique venue. They have over 125 vendors serving food and handmade crafts. And this is something they do every Saturday morning. Typically, it would be that they would have live music, but with the COVID, of course, they had to back off of that. And then after going through the market, then we moved down along the marina front, the waterfront there, down along the marina, past the yacht club, where we found what I always look for, and that was a nice place with a cold beverage and a view of the water and boats. It was just great. From the marina, you can rent watercraft, charter a fishing trip, or just take a waterfront tour. St. Petersburg has so many things to offer. The Salvador Dali Museum is their number one attraction. There are sunken gardens, there are any types of water sports you can imagine, and some of the most pristine beaches you will find. We, on the other hand, went looking for Mazzeros, the Italian market. From fresh roasted coffee to deli selections, gourmet baked goods, handmade pastas, specialty cheeses, Mazzeros is one-of-a-kind gourmet market. Actually voted number one of 703 restaurants in St. Petersburg. We got there on a Saturday afternoon. There were no parking places to be found. There, we had to go to a building two down from it to be able to find parking and then walk down. I actually did get in line to place an order for some food, and it was pretty obvious to me that they were more patient in line than I typically am, and so I just was totally captivated by all the things that were there and enjoyed the visit. And we picked up some little something to go, but unfortunately didn't take the time to actually get a meal there. I can only imagine how good it would be. Our base of operations for our St. Petersburg trip was in Seminole, Florida, with Harvest Host Harvest Host Barbara and Eric. Eric had just purchased the property about 3 months before we got there, and each day he and Barbara were working their tails off in restoring the property. It was centrally located to everything we wanted to see, and Eric and Barbara were just the nicest people you would ever want to meet. On our last day there, we discovered that we had a common interest in enjoying a glass of wine at the end of the day. It was a great trip. Before leaving Eric and Barbara, we drove down to Fort Desoto Park. Even though we have reservations the following day, we simply wanted to go get a look at the place and lay of the land. Fort Desoto is located at the entrance to Tampa Bay. The entire island is now Fort Desoto Park, a Pinellas County park which offers fine beaches, fishing, nature trails, camping, boating, and more. The pictures shown here show a distorted view of the park. What's not shown is that the temperature at this time was somewhere in the 60-degree mark, so where normally it would be packed with people, it looks like this gorgeous deserted island atmosphere. I can tell from the parking places around, it just normally doesn't look like that. The park has a very nice boat launch and 2 fishing piers.
I think he's getting ready to cast.
And if you have ever attempted to throw a casting net, you can appreciate what a nice job this fella does with this.
It opened up pretty good.
We were very fortunate to get a campsite at Fort Desoto for one night. If you look at the populations at that, Pinellas County has a population of, like a couple million people, and the next county Tampa's in is about another 3 million people, and people that we spoke to said where they were surprised we were able to get a site there at all. It is a beautiful campground looking out over the bay. You do have some issues, though, that from the pictures you can see everything is grown in close. Getting into the space is extremely difficult. If you have a larger unit, I would just say be cautious in that, and I would, if you can do it, try to get a pull through. The night we stayed here, the wind was blowing 27 miles an hour and the temperature was in the 40s. So you can understand some of the waves that are rocking out there. The next morning, I got on my bike and rode out to the actual fort. Ironically, Fort Desoto was never the site of any major battle, and the weapons at Fort Desoto were never fired in anger. I would say this would be the gig I would want if I were being stationed in a military location. I cannot imagine what this place would be like during prime time. In one parking lot, I counted 2,000 spaces, and there were more parking lots available. Our stay in St. Petersburg was fantastic. But now it's time to begin the trek back towards home. Our next stop is Cedar Key. See you there.